What's going on, guys? Getting in the green. We've got a 5 game basketball slate for you. We'll dive pretty deep into some of these games, and we're gonna have to find some bench players and a few things to round out some spots here. As far as injury news, I'd say the biggest. Well, there's two we're waiting on. Embiid and LeBron James, both questionable at this point. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let me see if I can pull anything new up to date. I know the most recent was LeBron was downgraded to questionable from probable. So, personally, I'm assuming this guy's not playing, but definitely got to wait on that news and the Embiid news to really construct your lineups. But we'll dive in game by game, kind of give you some options if they play, if they don't play, and a little closer to tip off, you guys can kind of make those decisions. So, look, let's go in. We're gonna get started here with DraftKings. And like I said, 5 games, so we're going to have to find some value tonight. And let's get this thing kicked off here, man. First game of the night is a great one, man. We've got Philly at the Knicks. And we both know when these two teams are competitive, they put up fantasy points, man. These guys have per-minute producers, both of them. And, the biggest risk you're running is blowouts, but this is looking like it's going to be a competitive game, man. I got no problem loading up on this first game of the night here. So let's take a look at Philly. And like I said, the big news we're waiting on is Embiid. So until we know, I think he'll go, but, we'll find out here in a little bit. But Embiid at 9,800, man, it's a great price. You get him under 10K in a spot like this against the Knicks. I think this is a prime matchup for him to really go off. So I like Embiid. I don't love Harris at 8,000 unless Embiid's out, but give him a look. Maxi's all the way up to 6,000 now, and he's been pretty mediocre, man. I don't know if I'm paying 6,000 for him. I guess if Embiid is out, it's in play, but I'm not running to play Tyrese Maxey anymore. You're not getting that discount that you got early in the year with the guy. And it's just been mediocre performances. The minutes have been there for sure, but the stats just haven't followed suit. So his counterpart, who's $100 cheaper, and Seth Curry, just looks like a better play to me. Started off the year slow, and now he's worked up to 36 and 34 minutes. And his last 2 games, he scored 36 and 41. In what should be a good game, I like some Seth Curry here over Maxey. So really just depends where you want to go. Seth Curry is definitely going to be more scoring dependent. Maxey can kind of stuff the sheet a little bit better for you. But in this matchup here, the Knicks don't cover the perimeter very well. I like this spot for Seth Curry. Now, Drummond, still waiting on a questionable for him. He's really only a play if we get Embiid out. If they're both out, it would probably open up some minutes here for Bassie at $3,000. If you trust him, man. That's really what it comes down to. Nothing impressive out of this guy, really. But if he's a starting center here against the Knicks, who's going to roll out Mitchell Robinson, you're going to have to play a big against him. Not the worst spot to be in. So this game, especially with the Philly side of things, we're waiting on injury news before we really pull some triggers here. Now on the Knicks side of things, man, somehow people just aren't playing Julius Randle, and I don't get it. So the dude just stuffs the stat sheet, man, and let's just take a look at his game log here. 68, 48, 62. He's money, man. That 48, came in the blowout win at Orlando. But in both games that were competitive, this guy scored over 60. Over 30 points in both those games. I think his props are too low tonight. And just in general, I don't think Julius Randle's getting the love he deserves. 9,500, he's a must play for me, man. You got Philly, who's going to push him to the limit. Probably going to win this game. Even though they're the 2-point underdogs at this point. I got Philly winning if Embiid plays. And yeah, Randle's going to get pushed here, man. I love this guy in this spot. Fournier, I don't trust, man. Too inconsistent. Rose and Barrett really are splitting it. Kemba's splitting it with them. I'm not loving these guards here. Mitchell Robinson, though, coming in again at 5,400. And the guy just gets it done, man. Um, if he's not in foul trouble, he's an absolute stud when he's on the floor. So, like, I know he's going to have a lot to handle if Embiid plays, but I like Mitchell Robbins here at 5,400. I like this game. Generally I don't want to load too heavy in the beginning of the day, but this game right here just strikes me as one that you're going to want to be a part of on both sides. Next game, we've got Warriors OKC. OKC, we all know, is, a couple games into the season and they're tanking already, so they don't care about winning. Golden State should run through this team, and that's crazy to say that this Golden State team is, I think they're like a 10-point road favorite right now. But I think it's completely, fair. OKC looks awful, and they can't stop anybody, so this might be a spot for Golden State to roll, but I would be wary of a blowout here. That's the only reason I'm not loading all the way up on Golden State, is I do think they take care of this, and they take care of it early. But look, Steph has been getting it done. 58, 65, 58. All pretty competitive games, though. Lakers, Clippers, Sacramento. If he does blow them out, I don't know what happens with his minutes. At $11,000, it does concern me. I won't be going too much Steph Curry here tonight. Draymond Green at 7,100. Still don't love it. And then Jordan Poole's all the way up to 5,900 now, but I mean, the guy's starting to get it rolling, finally put together a good shooting performance. And he's averaging 29 fantasy points per game, but his last game came out, had 38, looked good against Sacramento. And against this OKC team, if you're looking for some value, 5,900 for Jordan Poole's not a bad play tonight. Outside of that, though, I'm not touching anything on this Golden State team. Wiggins is a no for me. Porter Jr., Vizlica, Lead, Looney. None of these guys are playing enough. And they did give Poole the end of that game, too, against Sacramento because he was finally playing better. So I like Poole here. I can't pay up for Steph in a game that could potentially be a blowout. And for that reason, that's the only, like I said, that's the only reason I'm not loading up on Golden State here. But I do like them to win this game. I think the money line's only like minus 380, minus 400, and I'll probably end up pounding that as the night gets closer. OKC, man, you finally are going to get that pay up for Shea Alexander up to 8,100. We were kind of getting that 6,000 mark here for a couple times, and he completely busted against Houston and then goes off on Philly for 52 points. So 8,100 though, a little tough to trust here. You got Giddey, Baisley, Dort. Honestly, I'm not seeing much that I love here from this OKC team. They just don't look good to me, and their minutes are real spread out. They're trying to get some young guys some run and get a good look at them. Giddey hasn't been terrible. His last game he looked really good against Philly, but 5,800 now, you're not even in the 4,000s. It's kind of tough to go there. So, I'm going to just be fading this OKC team and really hope this turns into a blowout. And, Jordan Poole might be the only player I have in this game. Even on a 5-game slate, I got no problem fading one of these games because I do think it might get out of hand here. The next game is interesting. We've got Houston at Dallas. We've got the Battle of Texas here. And Dallas is huge favorites. What I will say, though, is this Houston team, man, when they're on, they put up numbers. I love Wood tonight. And I know he hasn't been like some superstar yet this season. He had the 161-point game against OKC, which, like I said, everybody drops points on OKC. Other than that, a 34 and a 35, and he is all the way up at 8,400. But you look at that Dallas front court, and Powell, Porzingis, these guys aren't getting in Wood's way at all. He should do whatever he wants in this game. I'm hoping they can keep it, semi-respectable and not a complete blowout, but I like Wood in this spot. I'm going to be loading him up at center plenty here tonight. Outside of that, Kevin Porter Jr.'s got the usage, just hasn't looked great yet. 47 was his high there against OKC. Otherwise, he's put some 20s in. And Jalen Green finally got hot. Dropped 48 points there against Boston. But a little hard to trust. He is looks to be kind of that streaky shooter. When he's hot, man, he is hot. He's kind of got that J.R. Smith effect. And he's out there hooping, man. He hooped against Boston on Sunday, but not the worst place to go at 6,100, but I wouldn't say he's super safe there. But if you're looking for some value, he's got it. And outside of that, I won't be touching any of these other Houston players. They are 10-point dogs. This could turn into a blowout. I'm hoping it doesn't. But I'm probably going to go up for Wood here in that game. Now, on the Dallas side of things, I got a hard time paying up for Luka, even though I think he should go to work here against this Houston team. Like I said, you're starting getting that's 10,900. I need 66 points from this guy to really even be viable. And they just might blow him out, man. He scored 44 and 58 so far. He seems to kind of hand off some of those ball handling duties here early in the year. He's a great play. He's a great player. I love Luka. But I just don't know if this is the spot for him to really crush value for you. So I'm gonna be fading Luka here at the top on DraftKings. I don't touch Porzingis even at 7,600. The guy just has his days, doesn't have his days. Really, the guy I'm really looking at here is going to be Brunson, who I thought was going to, at the beginning of the year, just going to be Luka's backup. But they've run some two-guard sets with him. I think this one gets out of hand. And I like Brunson here, man. All the way down at 4,200. He scored 26 and 20. The 26 came in he scored 26 minutes as well in that blowout against Atlanta. And then a competitive game against Toronto, still gets 23 minutes. 5 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal. I like Brunson here. I think he's a great spot to go to when you're chasing value. And the guy's going to get, low to mid 20s tonight against a Houston team that does give up points. So Brunson might be my value play here in this game. And outside of that, man, there's not much going on here. The big man I don't trust. Powell's all the way down at 3,300, but the guy just doesn't score that well. 12 and 20. Not the worst spot for him. He's going to have to play against Wood, but for me, it's going to be Brunson or pass here on this Dallas team. Big home favorites here. Let me take a look at Tim Hardaway Jr. real quick. 19 and then 37, so it looked a lot better game 2. They are coming home. This is their home opener. These guys might shoot a lot better at home, and that's kind of what I'm hoping there with Brunson as well. But, yeah, for me, I know Dallas might put up a bunch of points here, but I see blowout written all over this one, and I'm going to pass on the big dogs here. The next game, we've got Lakers and the Spurs. We're waiting on LeBron James news. It looks like still questionable. So, I don't think he plays, man. If he plays, it's LeBron James. The guy's been pretty consistent this year. 61, then 39, then 44. But he's not getting you there on a $9,400 tag too often. Davis at 9,200 becomes a must-play if LeBron is out. I think the usage will just go through the roof there for him. 57, 50, and then a 42. But this guy would be the offensive one. And then the other guy you really want to look at, and this only applies if LeBron is out here for the top dogs, is Westbrook. His usage, again, would go through the roof. But he's been kind of in the mid-40s, and you're paying $9,000 for the guy. So, I don't know. He's been turning the ball over a lot. He doesn't look smooth in that offense. But I could see in a scenario where LeBron's not controlling the ball so much, Westbrook does get loose against the San Antonio team. But I don't know if that's where I want to put my money tonight. Now, I will say Carmelo Anthony balled out last game against Memphis, man. 10 of 15 from the floor, 6 of 8 from 3, 28 points, 3 rebounds and assists, 2 blocks, a steal. Stuffed the stat sheet. 42 fantasy points. Whew. Look, if LeBron doesn't go and Carmelo slides into that starting role, man, I will be pounding Carmelo Anthony at 5,200. Outside of that, though, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, on this Lakers team worth playing. So, look, I'm banking on LeBron being benched here. I think I roll out AD and Carmelo if that's the case. If LeBron plays, and I probably don't play any of the Lakers. So that's big news that we're waiting on. It's the 5:30 game, second to last game of the night. Tough place to be, waiting on that news with some pivots. Especially in the Spurs game, there's not much you really want to go to. Like, you've got Murray, at 7,300, which isn't a bad price for this guy, man. 33, 37, 41 so far. 7,300. Is he going to get you to 49? Probably not. So I'm going to stay away from there. White, mid 30s it seems like, but the guy's 6,500. Not the worst spot to be. This guy could definitely get value for you in a game that should have some decent scoring. I do like Jacob Podol here, though. And, 36, a 27, and a 39 against Orlando, Denver, Milwaukee. And these Denver, Milwaukee, I mean, they got good front courts. I'm not sure if, running AD at the 5 or what they want to do really affects this guy. I think he should go to work early. My concern would be if San Antonio tries to match that small ball lineup of the Lakers when they go AD at the 5. Do they keep Podol in, or what do they do there? And that might be some concern. So that's probably why I won't be too heavy on him. But at 5,600, man, he's in a prime spot to go off. I would check his props first half. I think he could definitely get rolling early. Keldon Johnson scares me, man. Hit or miss. I mean, he'll win you a slate, and then he'll just completely burn one of your lineups the next night. So my money won't be on him. Lonnie Walker off the bench has just been consistent, honestly. He had he only played 20 minutes, had a pretty bad game here at Denver. Other than that, in the 2 home games, he played 25 minutes, scored 34 and 24. He's all the way down at 4,200, and his usage rate when he comes in off that bench, man, is second on the team. I got no problem going here for Lonnie Walker. Again, if you're looking at some value at 4,200, I'll probably lean Brunson over Walker, but I'm also not opposed to playing both of them and, maybe stacking up a couple of the big dogs, and we'll get into the next game here in a second. There's a couple there, so that's where I'm going. I do like some Lonnie Walker here, maybe some Podol, and that's probably it there for that San Antonio team. Final game of the night, we've got Denver at Utah. And this is an interesting one. I got Denver here. Murray's still out. Dozier's probably out. So there's a couple of interesting spots here for Denver for me. And you've got Jokic, who just owns Utah, man. This guy puts up numbers. So Jokic might be a must-play for me. And he's all the way up at 10,600. You need him to go off if you play him. And he didn't get it done last night against Cleveland. Weird game. They get beat by 12 at home. They're coming on the road on the second half of a back-to-back at Utah. Generally speaking, not the best spot to be in, but I do like Jokic here. I think he's one of the better pay-up options on this slate, and I think he goes to work here tonight. So I do like Jokic. I'm not playing Michael Porter Jr. too much. I will say the guard I'm looking at, though, is at 5,700. I think Will Barton is in play, man. The guy scored, he only scored 23 points last night, played 31 minutes, but the 2 games before that, 39 and 30, he's $5,700. I think he's in play to get you value, man. The guy scored 20, 12, and 12, get some rebounds, get some assists. He kind of stuffs that stat sheet for you. And he's really stepped up in the absence of Jamal Murray. I think Will Barton is definitely in play, more than Monte Morris would be for me. So, Aaron Gordon, 4,900, 29, 14, 23, not necessarily getting it done for you. If I'm going anywhere here, man, it's going to be Will Barton and Jokic for this Denver side of things. And then you've got Utah at home. Now, I'll tell you, the big problem here with Utah, man. Look, Donovan Mitchell doesn't play enough minutes. Gobert's been the main guy for them, but at 8,200, you got the same price there as a Christian Wood, which I'd rather go there. I'm having a hard time playing Utah this year. Outside of, I think Bogdanovic is too cheap, man. 5,500 for a guy that put up 32 and 22. He could go off here on this Denver team, and that back and forth, Utah will play that up and down style of basketball if you really force their hand on it. And Bogdanovic, I think, is going to benefit the most from this. I do like him here. He's not a must play for me by any means, but at 5,500, I do feel like he's a little underpriced, and he could have a great spot here at home against this Denver team that's not the best defensively so far this year. So His one home game, like I said, he scored 32 fantasy points, 22, and he was only 2 of 6 from 3. Got it done with 4 rebounds and 2 assists, a steal. He's not the greatest stat stuffer, but I will tell you, man, in a game that goes up and down and on a 5-game slate where you're looking for some value, this isn't the worst place to go. Next, we've got to go to Superdraft, and there's some interesting spots here, man. Let's pull this up here. This 5-6 game kind of window right here, this is the money spot, guys. I will tell you that. When you're playing on a 9-game slate, it's tough, man. There's going to be a game that you didn't expect, something, and it's a tough place to be, especially if you're trying to win. Now, in that 5-6 game slate, you can't just play the big names. You got to kind of find some value, and I think this is a prime spot for it, especially with a couple blowouts tonight that I think people might overlook and really load up on those games because the names sound good. The Lukas, the Steph Currys, who, aren't bad plays, but, I mean, if you think those could be blowouts and you fade that game, everybody else is on it, you might be sitting real nice. Last night got burned with that Clippers blowout. Was sitting on Paul George and McCollum, didn't play the fourth quarter, really. That one hurts. So, yeah, I mean, you got to be wary of it, man. No matter how good the name sounds, if it's going to be a blowout, you're going to have a hard time hitting value there. So, right here on guards, the top 2, like I said, Luka, Steph. You got Westbrook, Donovan Mitchell, Shea, Alexander, Murray. I'm not playing the top too much here, man. I might throw in one with Steph, one with Luka, just in case those games do stay competitive. And I think that Dallas game might be a little more prone to staying competitive than the Golden State game. Look, Westbrook, maybe if LeBron's out, he gets there for you. Kevin Porter, Fournier, RJ Barrett, Michael Conley, Dort, Kemba, White, Rose. I'm not seeing much here, man, at the top for guards. I mean, you're on a 5-game slate. I'm already into the 1.5Xs. Jordan Poole, 1.55. Not a terrible spot for him. You got Maxey at 1.6. I don't know if he necessarily gets you there. Barton at 1.6. Could get it done for you, man, if he kind of has that 40-point outing. But I don't know if he gets you there either. Even, at 1.6 isn't great. Brunson's at 1.6, and, as much as I love that guy on DraftKings, I don't think he gets you there on Superdraft. Maladon, Giddey, Quickly, Bullock, Green, Morris, Johnson. Seth Curry here at 1.75, man. I like this guy tonight. Scored 42 and 39 his last 2 games. I think that guy absolutely gets you there. Seth Curry is going to be a must-play for me here at 1.75. Lonnie Walker at 1.8. I don't know if he gets there. 25, 36 there against the Magic. Maybe not a bad spot for Lonnie Walker at 1.8, but of the 2, I'm going Seth Curry 1.75. Might play both of them. Yeah. Outside of that, man, it's tough. So, first thoughts here before I start putting too many of these lineups together is I'm going to be playing Seth Curry or Lonnie Walker down there at the bottom. Probably throw a Poole or Maxey in or Barton, someone right there in the middle. And then I'm coming up, man. I might have to play some of these top dogs that I didn't really want to go to. But we'll probably be looking at like a Steph Curry or Luka here, just out of viable options here at guards. So real interesting. I think there's a lot of value on DraftKings, but like I said, they might not get you there on Superdraft. So you might want to, play the top here with, but definitely a Seth Curry there at 1.75 is a prime spot, man. Forwards are going to have the, the plays here, it's looking like. So we've got Luka there as well. But, I mean, if you're going to play Luka, play him as a guard. Just it's a lot lighter there over at guard. You can get a couple extra forwards in here. Embiid, game time decision. Don't mind him if he plays. Anthony Davis is only really if LeBron's out. Julius Randle at 1.2x, man. Like I said, he's not getting the respect he deserves. I think this guy is a machine, and I love him here at home. 1.2x, I will be rolling out a lot of Julius Randle. Power forward only here for Christian Wood. He doesn't have center eligibility on Superdraft. Really sucks, but look, Christian Wood's going to be a prime spot here at 1.25x as well. Let's scroll down. Bogdanovich is only, he's a 1.6. Not bad. I don't know if he gets through there on Superdraft. Let's take a look. Not really, man. So I'm going to pass on him over here on Superdraft. Mitchell Robinson, 1.65, and he does have center eligibility, so we'll take a look over at center. Not a bad spot for this guy, and I think he does have a monster game here against Philly. Hopefully he stays out of foul trouble, which is kind of his Achilles heel. We're scrolling. This Carmelo play I love. If there's no LeBron here at 1.75, I mean, that guy will absolutely get you there. That might be... Yeah, look, so I'm going to go Carmelo if I can with no LeBron. And then, outside of that, probably a Mitchell Robinson and a Julius Randle, Christian Wood kind of thing going on. And I might have to move Mitchell Robinson over to center, except for the fact that you've got Jokic at center, 1.05. Tough not to play that guy. I'm going to have to work this out. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I got Mitchell Robinson, Carmelo if LeBron is out, Christian Wood, Julius Randle, Jokic. Gonna kind of probably just mix those guys together and try and put something together. But hey, look, 5-game slate, man. This is probably your best chance to win some serious money. Let's load up. I'm gonna be loading up on Superdraft tonight. A couple DraftKings lineups. Really wait on those final news there on Embiid and LeBron. Outside of that, you should be good to go tonight. All right, guys. Look, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Probably not this week. Starting next week, we're gonna start going live for these. Get a little feedback, hear what your guys' thoughts are, and we'll go from there.